Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in a fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what all of this information means and, most importantly, what you can do to apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life out there. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day is not only are we the greatest nation on earth, but I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live your American dream as well. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is my obviously my weekday live show. I also have a twice a week long form podcast that I drop over on iTunes and Spotify. That's audio only. And rest assured, you guys, anybody who shows up on my content with me, whether it's my guest or anything like that, you guys, we are all transportation professionals. All right. There's no theory on any of my stuff. There's no people who want to be thought leaders who couldn't tell you what a fifth wheel was if their life depended on it. Because at the end of the day, you guys, we want to bring you the right information that you can use out there in your businesses. We got a couple of articles, had some breaking news this morning that we'll cover here briefly. And then, it's a solo show today, and we will be doing a little bit of the lane analysis. But before we do any of that, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or shipper, we all need access to trailers. And the best part about with what they have, you guys, is you get paid to move these. So my small carriers out there, if you ever have a trailer in the shop, you don't have to shut your truck down anymore. You can jump on VHub, you can snag a trailer, load that out, and then get paid on top of that revenue that you get that load out to move that trailer. So what they're currently working on right now is they have a reefer available in Milton, Ontario, going to Montreal, Quebec, $250 Canadian to move that. They also have Galt, California, going to Hutchins, Texas, a drive-in. You get $500 to do that. They also have a van up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, going to Vaughan, Ontario, $500 Canadian. And then finally, they have a flatbed out in Macomb, Mississippi, going out to Brighton, Colorado, and you get $1,600 US to do that, you guys. So again, hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Tracy O. St. Clair, good morning. Thanks for joining. Louis, what's up, my brother? He says, good morning. It's a great day. Charles Richardson, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining. Sonny Sharma, good morning, and let's fucking go. My Canadian brother, Vitaly Becker, is in the house, bridging the gap between our two countries there. Welcome to the show, sir. We are at day 198 of the Freight Coach Tally. And for those of you who are new, I have a tally every single day that I've gone live here, and it's just to continue to bring awareness to hot button issues in this industry that seemingly are still going on. Why our drivers don't have safe and secure truck parking, why we don't have access to showers for our drivers and stuff like this. So, again, it is one of those things, you guys, where I'm going to continue to talk about this day in and day out. I do not do this for vanity metrics. I'm here to change the industry, as are most of you who continue to tune into this show time and time again. We're here to change the industry. We are going to be the change. And, when we're done with our careers, we're not going to look back and be like, oh, I've been doing this for 35 years and nothing changed. I fucking hate that line. And that's not going to be a part of it. So we are dedicated to change. We're going to continue to bring this up until there is meaningful change out there. Diesel, my driver friends, don't hate me for bringing this up because you're paying for at the pump right now, $4.54 a gallon nationwide. We are up 90 cents year over year. A gallon. I get all that information, you guys, from the EIA, EIA.gov. Again, it just helps you understand the trends of fuel and everything. It's ironic how fuel prices spike with certain administrations and drop with other certain administrations. But hey, I'm not here to talk politics. I'm just here to report the facts, and the fact that you can go to the EIA.gov, who does not sponsor this show at all. That's where I get all my information from in my brokerage, and it helps you read fuel trends. It helps you price more accurately at the end of the day. Dylan Turner, good fucking morning to you as well. Everyone, let's get some, he says. Bill LaGrange. Yeah, absolutely, man. vhubapp.com. And, or if you want to DM me, I can put you in contact with my friends over there if that's easier. April Maroney, what's up? Good fucking morning. Let's fucking go. Good day to onboard some customers. Every day is a good day to onboard some customers. I like your style today, April. Coming in hot on this Wednesday. It is Wednesday today. All right. With it being a solo show, as always, I try and do a lane analysis report every single time I do that. And it's just a lot of it, you guys, is to help you read freight markets so you can identify the consistencies or inconsistencies of the data that is out there. So I decided to pull up my old stomping grounds of Reno, Nevada. And I say it that way because everyone in Nevada gets pissed when you call it Nevada. But Reno, Nevada to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we are going to pull reefer on this one. Reefer trailers out there for you who are tuning in and don't know the industry. Anyways, we're going to pull a 90-day rate analysis on this. So 90 days ago, rates were reporting with fuel $3.06 per mile. The 60-day was at $3.02 a mile. 30-day was same at $3.02 a mile. And then obviously you're starting to see a slight peak because of the holidays over the last 15 days. At $3.15, and then it was up to $3.20 over the last 7 days. So obviously there's that Christmas and New Year leg on that. So based on this information that I'm seeing, if you're going in there, I would really hold firm at that's probably what you're going to pay around that $3 a mile mark for reefer trailers right now on this lane. And, you know, it'll probably dip here because obviously at the beginning of the new year, you're going to see a slight dip in the market because load volumes tend to slow down. Rates continue to slow down and drop a little bit on the spot market. And then especially you're going to see a change in pricing, you guys, obviously as RFPs get published out there this year. There's going to be a drop in pricing and that's going to show out there on the report. But if you are operating in the spot market and you're working with your customer, I would try and negotiate a 60, 90-day rate to get in place for them and get that locked in. Because again, you guys, service is everything in this industry, as we all know. And as long as you're servicing it, there's a, you're going to continue to win that freight. All right. Erica Hamilton, good morning, Orange Gang. That is right. I'm assuming you guys all saw this, but there was a damn near ground stoppage of airlines today, this morning. Thousands of flights. I just pulled this up. This is from USA Today. Thousands of flights delayed and canceled across the U.S. after FAA computer outage, which is crazy. Not all flights were grounded out there. I saw that Atlanta, Hartsfield, and then Newark was still flying out there. It was a computer glitch at the FAA, delayed airline traffic across much of the nation early Wednesday, and as it's working to restore the system. The FAA instituted a nationwide pause on departure, also known as a ground stop, for part of the morning Wednesday, but that order was lifted as of 9 a.m. Eastern time. More than 6,400 flights within, into, or out of the U.S. were delayed as of 11 a.m., according to FlightAware, and more than 1,000 flights in the country were canceled, with 19,621 domestic flights scheduled on Monday, according to a data source, and those numbers are almost certain to rise as airlines recover their operations. United issued a waiver for certain airports out there. Southwest also announced a more flexible change policy. Southwest just can't catch a break right now. But, they are going to be just fine. Southwest is a beloved airline by a lot of people. Airlines for America, the trade group that represents major U.S. airlines, urge travelers to check with their carrier throughout the day for real-time updates and everything else. And then the FAA, it does say it right here, that it didn't shut down all flights. The NOTAM system provides pilots with crucial safety information for every flight. And it's the first time that departures had been halted nationwide, obviously, since 9/11. And this is rare. It goes on to say, and then for now, most airlines seem to be run more or less than their full schedule for the day, though many flights are likely to be delayed once departures are allowed again. Washington weighs in. This is always, I haven't read this yet. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre confirmed early Wednesday that President Joe Biden had been briefed by Secretary Pete Buttigieg on the situation. There's no evidence of a cyber attack at this point, but the president directed DOT to conduct a full-on investigation into there, which is always a good sign that there wasn't a cyber attack. I think that, safety first, no matter what. Buttigieg tweeted that the FAA had concluded that the safety system impacted by the outage overnight was completely restored, and he had directed an after-action process to determine root cause and recommended next steps. Nevertheless, with the FFA reauthorization coming up, Senator Maria Cantwell, chair of the Senate Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation, said in a statement that the committee will be looking into what caused the outage. And yeah, so, it just goes on a little bit on that, but that was just some breaking news this morning about what was going on. That article was from USA Today. All right. So first article we are going to break down, ironically, is on truck parking. ttnews.com. Truck parking is top issue for drivers. Shocking that is a top issue for drivers. And it seems like some people don't think it is. But all my friends out there that are drivers, we talk about this frequently. And my family members who are still drivers, we also talk about this frequently. There is 313,000 truck parking spaces existing nationwide, according to a recent survey conducted by the Federal Highway Administration, American Trucking Associations, and OIDA. Estimate that there's one parking spot for every 11 drivers. So it's no surprise, said Rebecca Brewster, president and chief operating officer at American Transport Research Institute, that for the third year in a row, truck drivers surveyed throughout their annual critical issues survey identified truck parking as the industry's #1 issue. Nearly half of the survey's 4,200 respondents were professional truck drivers, the highest response in 18 years. If that's not telling about that, I believe that drivers recognize the power of this annual analysis for really bringing a spotlight to their big issues, Brewster said. The ATRI survey found that the lack of truck parking is particularly challenging in and around metropolitan areas where population densities create increased consumer demand for truck freight. According to the survey report, in a growing number of these areas, political pressure on local government from residents who want goods delivered by truck but do not want to provide parking for truckers. The irony of that. It makes it more challenging to ease the regulatory burdens. One of the top survey recommendations, 38% of respondents called for encouraging local and regional governments to reduce regulatory burdens, limiting the construction and expansion of truck parking facilities. Also, just a little caveat here. If you're a broker out there, when's the last time you checked with your customers or your shippers or your receivers about on-site parking or parking nearby? Can they park on the street, in front of the facility, anything? I mean, again, there's not going to be a quick fix to this, but what can we do in our current situation? Talk to all of your providers and see if there is anything around there, even if it's on site or nearby, that somebody can come on and our drivers can park at. Brokers, we are literally in front of our computer all day long. It's not about it picks here, it delivers here, this is what it weighs, and this is what it pays. If you're going to survive in this market, you need carrier partners. And a great way to have carrier partners is to help them. Shocking fucking thought process there. But go above and beyond for your carrier partners and talk to them. And, again, if you're hearing this and you're like, oh, I've never thought of that, start right now. Every single facility you are working with, talk to them all and see if there is on-site or near-site parking available for our drivers. This is a very real thing. I have talked to drivers numerous times moving freight who have specifically said, I won't deliver there or pick up there because there is no parking and there's no parking nearby and everything else. So again, you guys, that's a very real concern. And this is not this is news to anybody who's been in the industry. Truck parking's been an issue for a long time. But again, what more can you do with this? LinkedIn user, got to change your security settings. I really wish I got it narrowed down to a couple, but it says truck parking and healthy food options for drivers is scarce. I think, that's a good business opportunity right there, is healthy food prep for drivers. I know there's a store, and drivers, even if you're out there listening to this right now, look and see if there's a local meal prep company that you can have them prepare your meals and have it dropped off at your house or pick it up at their store. I found one just down the street from my office here where they prepare meals every single day. And I go in and I can buy food for 3 days or 4 days like that. So again, if you're looking for healthy options, it might be closer than you think. I know you guys are out on the road for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So while you're out there, but hell, this could help offset a couple of those days early on. Or if you're consistently running in certain areas, look in that network as well. If you're, say you're doing Reno to Albuquerque, find one in Reno and find one in Albuquerque, and you can pair it up. or maybe down in Las Vegas, whatever route you're taking, check it out along the way and try and pre-plan for that if you're out there looking for that stuff. But yeah, let me see. Local and federal efforts. One example may be in Philadelphia, where Council Member Anthony Phillips of the city's 9th Ward introduced a resolution December 8th to explore ways to help truck operators find parking, ultimately keeping them out of residential neighborhoods. He also introduced a bill to make it easier to ban truck parking in the 9th Ward. Wait, what? Okay, that seems like... So he's trying to help them find parking, but keep them out of parking as well. Okay. Typical politician right there. Phillips said that while his bill would make it easier for the city street departments to install no truck parking signs, fuck me. He also recognizes the need to identify alternatives for truck drivers. No shit. His resolution also calls for the city's administration to perform an audit of semi-trailer and truck tractor parking across Philadelphia and to investigate best practices in other jurisdictions. It is understandable that the drivers of these trucks, many of whom live in the neighborhoods in which they are parking, need somewhere to park their vehicles when they are home for a few days, but it's unfair for residents who view these vehicles as quality of life or public safety concern. Do you see the contradiction in everything you are saying here, Phillips, elected official in Philadelphia? Fucking A. In response to the need for additional truck parking, efforts supported by Republicans and Democrats are underway in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Cynthia Loomis from Wyoming and Mark Kelly from Arizona introduced the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act on December 1st. And the Senate would permit the Transportation Secretary to issue grants for parking, including $375 million in the fiscal year. Let me see. I think various state departments or transportation are ways of helping solutions that are out there. I think, let me see, 2 truck parking projects are underway in Florida and Tennessee, and then West Virginia is demolishing 2 travel plazas along its turnpike to create modern ones and adding a total of 45 new spaces that are out there. Again, we should look, from a federal level, if you're looking at this right now, or the state level when it comes to rest areas, how many rest areas are closed and everything else. I think that would be a phenomenal starting spot to get some immediate reprieve to a lot of this, because a lot of this is, yes, it's great talk. It's great. It's going in the right direction, but like anybody who's ever picked up a fucking shovel before knows that it's 2 to 3 years away from actually seeing it. So what can we do in the short term? And I think that that's what we need to be looking at to go against the guy from Philadelphia. Instead of looking at ways to remove drivers' abilities to park, like he's so eloquently alluding to, we need to come to a short-term solution while these things are being constructed, as opposed to driver just fucking deal with it. Because that kind of is the sentiment that I'm getting from certain parts of this article. Let me see. Yeah, there's some good information in this article, you guys. I would definitely check it out. It's from TT News. Truck parking is top issue for drivers, which comes as zero surprise to any of my friends that are drivers who tune into this, or anybody who tunes into this that is a driver. But it's gaining recognition, and we're going to continue to talk about this all the time because, again, I am still taken aback about the article that I broke down a few months ago about the top 10 concerns for drivers and the top 10 concerns for fleets, and how only 2 matched up, and they were at the opposite ends of the top 10. So, again, we're here to bring a voice to the small fleets of the world, to give you guys a platform to talk about. And that's also just a little subtle reminder. Any of my listeners out there who are drivers, who want to jump on the show and keep it real about what's really going on out there, fucking DM me, email me, chris@thefreightcoach.com. I'd love to talk to you and get you on here and feature you in any way I possibly can. Also, next article. I actually enjoy this one from Fleet Owner, fleetowner.com. Begin the new year with an operational reassessment. From the looks of things, it will, this year is going to be, let's call it what it is. We're damn near in a recession. I know that they're going to change the definition on that to say that we're not, but anybody who's actually out there purchasing stuff, you notice that all the prices are up. Fuel is up. Interest rates are up. Everything is up. The cost of living has skyrocketed, and our money has gone down. So anyways, again, I went to public school, you guys. I'm not an economist, but, I can barely add. And for me personally, with the way we're looking at, regardless of economic conditions, the beginning of the new year is always a good time to reevaluate the process and procedures to try and improve efficiency. And it's important to take a long, hard look at the way you operate. Due to all ongoing delays in new equipment deliveries, it will be more important than ever to determine if you have the right mix of trucks to achieve your 2023 business plan. To right size or reallocate your fleet, take inventory of all assets. Determine the total cost of ownership for each asset and then deploy them in the most cost-effective and efficient lanes. Because the industry is extending asset life cycles, it's critical that we pay close attention to the ongoing running costs. Extended life cycles will require additional maintenance, and preventative maintenance frequency will increase. Using older assets on routes that are closer to your shop will allow you to avoid costly roadside repairs. And also we were kind of briefly talking about this yesterday as well, is getting that preventative maintenance scheduled. And especially say you just got your truck paid off or you're damn near close to it, extending the life cycle of that asset to reduce your debt, is going to be, I think, very key this year. And, getting out there and keeping it on the road at all costs and getting a maintenance schedule in place. I mean, hit up my man, Adam Wingfield. He's got all of this stuff on there. And then, I've also had some other guests on here where we've talked about this, you guys, but preventative maintenance, keeping your trucks on the road and everything and scheduling these things out is key to keeping, because again, you got to keep moving as a driver. It's the only way you make money. I think that, if we are looking at this, maybe it is reassessing your business. Maybe you've taken loads that put you in an area where it's very sporadic for your outbound freight. It might be an opportunity to reassess this and see what is the most efficient lane. I would say if you don't have a dedicated area, and again, my man, Tyler, who's on the show, my buddy who's the owner operator, Tyler Burkhofer, excuse me. Me and him are going back and forth on that. And we were talking about him finding dedicated freight, and, he's going to have a big year this year because he's out there actively prospecting in his area. My friend, Tony Darnell, who was on the show a couple weeks back, he says the same thing. He is a shipper, and he had said, he's like, come by, introduce yourself and everything else. So again, own your backyard, you guys, wherever you are. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised the amount of freight that can keep you local or regional, and you can develop your own niche. Because again, I mean, yes, I'm a broker. I own a freight brokerage, but I also understand that drivers out there, if you can get that consistent business directly from a shipper, and by you going out there and winning their services that way, by all means, there's enough pie for us all. And I think that's a way. Cause I mean, even running local, find some dedicated freight. Hell, I would argue that in some markets you can make, you could probably gross $1,000 a day by just doing a couple of local runs. I wouldn't be surprised if that's out there. I know that there's stuff out there because, I'm in the industry, and I know that that's a very real possibility in a lot of freight markets. So look at that as you're assessing how you're going to operate this year. And, sometimes the highest rate per mile out there has the most, it might be putting you into a really shitty market and everything else. And you might have to sit for a few days or deadhead a couple 100 miles to find an outbound load that doesn't get you back to where you're coming from. So again, I think you developing out that consistency this year, and who knows, maybe there's, I know there's some quality brokers out there, and they got that consistent business for you, and you can pair up with them and just run local, until the market changes and rebounds in certain aspects of it. So again, you guys, I would just look at it from a different perspective coming into this year. That article, fleetowner.com, begin the new year with an operational reassessment. And as always, you guys, I put all the links to the articles up on the YouTube channel, The Freight Coach, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is available over on iTunes and Spotify. And if you guys do jump over to those other platforms, do your boy a solid, subscribe, share the show, rank the show if you find value in what I'm talking about here, you guys, because at the end of the day, if you guys see value in it, your network's going to see value in it as well. And I'm just here to help keep people in business. As a fellow entrepreneur, as a fellow individual who has literally fucking everything on the line, just like you guys do every single day, I want to see you guys stay in business. Let me see. Louis says, if anybody needs a ride or some food, if I could help, I'm available. It'll be a pleasure. He is in Las Vegas. That's awesome, Louis. That's fantastic, man. And Vitaly says, getting into a niche definitely reduces the amount of competition out there. All right, third and final article from FreightWaves. This one just keeps getting better and better. Trucking bookkeeper already in prison for embezzlement, sentenced for PPP fraud. Let me see. Already serving 6 years and 8 months in federal prison for embezzling more than $700,000 from a trucking company where she worked. A Missouri woman has been sentenced to 2 more years in prison for committing PPP fraud. Federal judge called her Kristen Diane Schulte's behavior outrageous and very aggravating. In September, Schulte, now 37, of Washington, Missouri, pleaded guilty to 3 counts of bank fraud, admitted she fraudulently filed PPP loan applications for a business called the Mama Bear Cake Company from March to May of 2021. Although her first application submitted for a $13,000 loan was rejected, First Community Credit Union discovered her criminal history. Prosecutors said she successfully obtained 2 PPP loans for over $27,000. According to court filings, the money for the second loan was deposited into the case before she was sentenced to prison in 2021. And she was indicted on the new fraud charges. Fucking A. Like, this is, she began serving her sentence in Illinois federal prison for stealing $700,000 from McCusick Farms Trucking and McCusick Farms in New Haven, Missouri, where she worked as a bookkeeper for nearly 2 years. It says that as part of this scheme, she fraudulently and without permission used companies' credit cards for personal expenditure. She also had American Express and First Bank issue her new credit cards in the farm and trucking companies' names and charge more than 1,800 transactions, racking up more than $532,000 in credit card debt. Fuck. That is, it's just insane to me. And, again, the business owner just got absolutely hosed. And, I don't know what, any money that they are requiring her to pay back, chances are she's not going to. And again, somebody's out. But again, like, that's another subtle, it's just another reminder, you guys, if you're in business, having a bookkeeper, having somebody out there and just having somebody be there to actually help you understand where your money is going, and then paying attention to that on top of it, checking it, read your financial reports as they come through. That's what's most important. As your financials come through, question everything. If there are any charges on there that you don't recognize at all, question those things. And I know it's tough, but again, you guys, $700,000, that's a lot of fucking money. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money to see kind of walk out the door there. So that article is from freightwaves.com. Trucking bookkeeper already in prison for embezzlement, sentenced for PPP fraud. Nathan, who's watching over on YouTube in today's episode of Dumb Criminals. Nathan, that is so true. That is so true. Wow. But you guys, that's it for today. The Freight Coach Morning Show. I appreciate you guys all coming out to this. And, as always, if you guys see value in this, share the show. That's how we are the top morning show and podcast in transportation, is because of each and every one of you who watch it and share it out there to the network. Because again, you guys, if you guys see value in this, your network's going to see value in this as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.